taking care of business.
I like that idea. Yeah.
As well.
I'm fine with more displays. Like more displays and things like that where it's something to distract. Yeah.
Like toilets in Japan, like playing music and do a bunch of stuff, they have like 1 million buttons. I don't know if you've seen them.
They have what? They have displays?
I thought you said 1 million bottoms.
They have 1 million
I thought you said so too.
Of course they have 1 million bottoms. They probably have more than that.
But they play music. Come on.
This is already not starting the way I wanted it to start. But no, it's true. Okay, let's talk about this. In Japan, they have displays in the bathrooms. That's what you're discussing?
No, their toilets have like 1 million buttons that you can just like push. And
buttons,
do
gotcha.
A lot of things like play music or like they have like a hose that
kind of goes against the idea that when you're using the bathroom, you want to like
move your mic closer.
Touch as few things as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly. I don't know how they do it.
All right.
I've just seen them.
I'm not sure where to go from there, how we transition into this. I will say that I'm feeling pretty good that I'm so much taller than everybody right now, since we had to lower everyone for Julian.
I will say that my idea of iPads in the bathroom stall is terrible because
we went right back
on
to
that
it.
thing. And if you're putting a piece of tape over your laptop camera, you definitely don't want an iPad camera staring at you while you are, taking care of business, having your morning constitution or whatever. Yeah.
Things to think about here on Digital Trends.
I feel like there's already enough spying going on in the world.
Well, speaking of spying, I don't know how I transition out of this from that
I
talk.
just did. I handed you Facebook spying.
Kind of. I'll go with it. All right. Speaking of spying, hello. This is Trends with Benefits. This is our weekly Roundtable Tech podcast here at Digital Trends, where we talk about the trending topics of the day. And we have a lot to get to today. So this is, in addition to being a podcast, we're live on Facebook and YouTube. And speaking of Facebook, that is going to be one of our first questions today. Other topics that we'll be getting to, though, are Apple's iPhones, some touchless control ideas that they have. We've got the AR displays for cars. We've got a cat that will monitor you, a robotic cat that will monitor you and tell all your friends what you're doing. I kid you not, that is exactly what it is, but we'll talk about that in a bit. First up, though, we have to talk about Facebook. We're all probably well aware of the data breaches at this point and the continuing information that we're getting about this. The irony that we're broadcasting live on Facebook is not lost on me, but we are live, so we do want to hear your thoughts and opinions and questions about everything going on. And the main question that we put up here is, how do you feel about the data breach? And we're going to kind of go over what we know so far. And will you be deleting your account? Is that something that you're going to do? And we're also on YouTube, so we want to hear comments on there. Of course, you can always send in emails. But let's introduce our cast of characters because we have an interesting group here today. Well, first off, I'm going to mute Julian right now. I'm Greg Nibbler. To my right, we have
the Whiskey Mist.
The Whiskey Mist, Mr. Caleb Dennison. Hello, Caleb.
Hello. I'm very glad to be here, and I also want to kind of point out the irony that we're asking people to submit their comments via Facebook.
Exactly.
They're not just telling us what their thoughts are. They're actually telling Facebook because we know that Facebook is monitoring their Facebook messages.
You are
comments.
correct.
And so tell us and Facebook what you think of what they've done. They'll definitely hear about it.
Let Facebook know how you feel about them. All right, and next to Caleb, we have
Juliana. Managing editor of DTS.
Hello, Juliana. Thank you for joining us today. You guys are both drinking Honest Tea, I will say, for the people who are watching at home. And on top of that, we have a very special guest joining us from DT's New York office. So we're here in Portland, Oregon, but from New York for the first time via this device. So if you're watching live, we have this gentleman joining us via the double telepresence robot is what they're calling it. It's basically an iPad on like a mini Segway, but he can't control it. The robotic head of Julian Chikatu. Hello, Julian.
Hey, how are you guys doing?
Doing good. So, Julian, just for everybody at home, can you tell them what you do here at Digital Trends?
Yeah, I'm the mobile editor. Cover wearables, mobile, smartphones, anything that moves that is connected to the internet.
Excellent.
Basically, he's the one who tells you why the iPhone rules and the Galaxy S9 sucks, right?
Sure, let's leave it at that.
That's not what he does.
That's summing up the job. That's what's on the business card that we have right there. All right, let's talk about Facebook and everything that's been going on with this because there is just so much. And I'm reading through the comments here on Facebook that people are leaving. So we're going to be talking about those. But just to kind of catch up to speed as far as the basic information that we know. Obviously, the Cambridge Analytica thing, I don't think we need to go in too much. They skimmed a lot of data. Originally, it was thought that possibly data from, I think, around 50 million people is what they had originally said was gleaned by this company through third-party apps. Basically, you would go in and take some of those quizzes, and then they would not only take your info, but all your friends' info. And now it's looking like about 90 million is what they're admitting to right now. 90 million people had their data taken. On April 9th, Facebook is going to put up a link on the website. So when you log in, ostensibly this is supposed to be how it works. You log in and you click a button and you can go through and see if your data was used by them. And that's one of the things that we found out. Also, we now know that Facebook is scanning your messages in Messenger. So if you think you've been sending private messages that nobody else is going to read, it's just direct communication, wrong. Facebook does have AI originally just scanning that stuff, looking for what they said are kind of the same things that they look for on Facebook as far as, I believe Mark Zuckerberg said sensational messages, which seems like a weird way to say it, but looking for illegal activity, looking for, I don't know, harassment, all kinds of things that they say they're doing, and then what can happen is somebody at Facebook can go in and then double check that. So, as Caleb is pulling up his messenger right now, sending sensational messages.
I'm in trouble.
What I'm seeing right here is has some of the comments, and then I want to hear everybody else in here too. What your opinions are. Vicky says not deleting it. Kind of says they allowed it, and that's true. You know, for a lot of it, you know, when you click on those buttons, they are taking your info. I think what a lot of people were upset is that they're also taking your friends' info. So if you log into there, everybody you're friends with also had their information taken. Luis says no, I won't delete my Facebook account, but I don't post my life either. Willie says hello. So hello, Willie. William says our information is out there now. Zuckerberg needs to change the terms of service. Okay, that's what he's talking about. So I think, though, in all honesty, didn't we know Facebook was taking this stuff anyway?
Yeah.
I mean, is this a surprise to a lot of people?
Especially
are you
Messenger.
upset about it? Yeah.
Messenger, it requires a lot of permissions, which is why a lot of people were like willing to not install it at all, like ever. My brother never installed it. He just accessed it on desktop.
Really? So he doesn't have it on his, but still, isn't that sending it, aren't they getting that same information anyway though? No matter whether you're using the app?
It's a different app from the main Facebook app on your phone.
It is, that's true, but I think it's still, the conduit is still the same. So if you're sending something on Messenger, it's still going through that same funnel.
Yeah.
And I think they're still looking after it. And I want to, Wayne Myers just commented in a little bit ago, and I can relate. He says, I don't care. And the thing is, like, you've heard me on this show before say, listen, I give up. Like, my life is on the internet as a tech journalist. You know, I'm on Twitter promoting stories. I'm out there putting my name on all this stuff. Like, I don't have any privacy just from that. And on top of that, I'm a pro musician with a band that I'm trying to promote, you know, and get the word out about different shows that we're doing. You know, so I use it as a business tool in that regard as well. Like, I feel like I can't get away from it. And, you know, I thought about it. I thought about killing my Facebook app and just not using it anymore. But I mean, for as many politically charged posts from people I kind of know that come through my feed and really depress me on a day-by-day basis, there are also people on Facebook that I care about, and I want to check in and see how they're doing. You know, I think it's the original intent behind Facebook, or my joining Facebook anyway, was to, you know, keep in touch with people that maybe I don't get to see on a day-to-day basis anymore. And I'm not necessarily going to send them a text message or, you know, harass them via email or something like that. And so I got to do that. So I'm reluctant. I don't want to necessarily kill Facebook. But to your point, no, I'm not at all surprised at all. And I'm not surprised that we're finding out that, oops, I guess it was more people than we thought. Because you know what this sounds like? Yahoo. Remember that? Anybody remember? Anybody still mad about Yahoo over here? Because they did the same thing to a much larger degree.
You're right.
You know, accounts were hacked, information was leaked, and I don't know how many people have felt the fallout of that. And unfortunately, I fear that what's going to happen, you want my prognostication, we're all going to have forgotten about this in 6 months.
I think you're right on that, although the difference, though, with Yahoo is a lot of people weren't using Yahoo anymore. I mean, these were older. I mean, for me, I still have a couple of accounts that I use for, like, fantasy sports. That's about it.
Yeah.
And so I don't think Facebook, there's so many people that use Facebook and use it not only for business, like you were talking about. I mean, to be able to quit, especially if you're a small business or you're promoting anything of your own, it's such a valuable tool. You have to use it.
Yeah.
I mean, you really do. There isn't a real viable alternative that I've seen, you know, that you can possibly use because Facebook's so prevalent. But I still think there is going to be some backlash. I think people's eyes may be open now, even though we knew all this was going on. There's a lot of people I don't think that maybe realized what was happening. Julian,
I think it's a prime. Sorry to jump in.
No, go ahead.
Do.
Julian via the telepresence robot right now.
Yeah, I think it's a prime opening for a company to come in, and I feel like I'm sort of surprised that no one has really just yet. Because if you think about it, this is like the perfect time for a new company to say, hey, this is what we're going to offer you, the same features that Facebook basically does, but with far more privacy, more focus on not really needing or caring about your data. The only problem is you can't really, get 2 billion users in just overnight. So that's going to take a long time. But I do think that it's a ripe time for someone to come in and say, hey, here's our alternative platform, switch to it.
That's a really good idea. And I have another question that I'd like you guys to field. Do you think that Facebook is so big right now that they're actually incapable of protecting our information? Like, I would like to think that Facebook was actually trying in some regard, but maybe they failed because they're not actually capable. Are they so huge now that they can't really protect our information?
I mean, well, I think the bottom line is there's so much money in it. I mean, the money, that's how Facebook became so big. That's how they have so much money to promote it. I mean, it's by selling those services, selling to advertisers. I mean, they've got billions and billions of dollars off of doing this. And yeah, I think maybe they are too big to possibly go under, but not that they're going to go under, not that anybody thinks that's going to happen, but they're too big. They're too prevalent in our lives.
So of all the people in this room and the one person not really in this room, but kind of sort of in this room, like how many of us have deleted our Facebook account or just gotten rid of the app and we're never going back?
Zero.
So
Yeah.
there you go. Look at that. I mean, granted, this is kind of a restricted sampling, but I think that Facebook is not going to feel the fallout from this.
Yeah.
Like, we are not running to disconnect ourselves from Facebook. We're staying there. We're going to stick through it. Facebook is going to make a bunch of promises. We're going to kind of believe them, and then we're just going to keep going about what we do. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that's how it is. Like,
there's something else now that it's... Like, for example, before Facebook, what did you guys use? MySpace?
Yeah, kind of.
No,
yeah,
I never did.
I think I still have a MySpace account out there, actually.
Well, there were a
Check
ton
that,
of other services with,
Friendster?
in other countries, but like now Facebook is like the one that's like worldwide.
Yeah,
everyone has around the world, and then like there's countries that have different laws, and there's like Cambridge Analytica was based in the UK and not the US, so like it's a new step into like this whole globalization thing that we've been having, like
That's
especially
totally true.
because it's the internet. The internet does not know any borders or anything like this. So there's not like one government controlling the entire internet or Facebook.
That's right. We're looking. I think we tend to look at Facebook regulations through the lens of U.S. law. Federal and state law, whereas Facebook exists outside of the U.S. all over the place. And I mean, to that degree, it accomplishes Mark Zuckerberg's intention of uniting the world, in some way. The question is, united, are we stronger? As we would tend to believe, united we stand, united we're stronger, or are we actually
everybody grouped and united together on Facebook?
Or are we actually a bigger target? Like, do we stand to lose more when we're united in that way? It's like fish in a barrel. If everybody's in one place, it's easy to take everyone out, or affect data changes, or steal data, or hijack computer systems, or whatever.
Well, and I'm looking at some of the comments, and I'm sorry, I missed which one it was, but again, keep your comments coming on Facebook. Let us know what you think. Somebody had just mentioned that they've built up all of their contact lists, with this, and it's true. You've connected with all these people, and they were saying that no, I'm not going to delete it because I would lose all those contacts, like all these people over the years that otherwise you probably wouldn't know or talk to, or you wouldn't be able to find them very easily. It's easy to forget the time before Facebook.
That's true, and the other theme I'm noticing in the comments section, these are really good, is that people aren't worried because they monitor what they share on Facebook. They're trying to keep it to a minimum. And, it's each individual's responsibility to kind of take a look at what they're sharing and how that impacts people.
Yeah.
I agree with that, but I would say that and maybe this is the way we wrap this up, I don't think it's a matter of how much we share. I think it's a matter of how connected to the other apps we use Facebook is. So every time you use Facebook to log into Spotify, Facebook knows what you listen to in terms of music now. If you use it to log into Netflix, if you connect your Amazon Prime account and Facebook together in some way, whether you knew you did it or not, it's not just what you're sharing on Facebook, it's how connected Facebook is to everything else that you do in your life online, and that information is being harvested.
Yeah.
And I think that maybe that's the big thing that people really need to learn.
The big eye-opener.
The big eye-opener here is how connected Facebook is to everything else that you do in your life. I mean, the reason why you see targeted ads on Facebook, if you're like, man, that's weird, I was just thinking about that thing. Well, it's because you probably went shopping for that thing on Amazon through a Chrome browser, and the two are connected, and now it's giving you ads for that thing on Facebook. Like, it's not an accident.
No, it's not. I mean, I think you're right about the third-party apps, because I forget about how many times I use Facebook to sign in. You know, that they know everything that you use, because it does make it so simple.
So much easier.
Rather than getting an email, setting up a separate account for every single app you use. And that's why, you know, the people using Tinder had the big issue, because they revoked it, and Tinder stopped working, essentially, for everybody, because they use Facebook data. And there's a lot of that I feel like we don't even realize. I know I don't. I don't even think about it.
Wasn't it the only way, though, to
I don't think it's the only way, but it does use, and I don't use Tinder, but I know it does gather, like, your Facebook images, and it will help match you up, like if you have a mutual friend via the app. So it's, maybe there's another way to log into it, too, but I know it messed up a lot of people, and they've since fixed it. But as we see this more and more, you know, we're going to find out a lot more about this. And April 9th is when they release that link that'll show up, again, supposedly at the top of your Facebook page, where you can check and see if Cambridge Analytica got your data and who's using your third-party information.
I can't wait to see Zuckerberg testify in front of Congress. I'm just really curious to see how he handles that situation. It's not the first time he's had to go and speak on the record about something like this.
But it's the first time in front of Congress, though.
Yeah, I think so. And, you know, just to sort of leave a parting thought in everybody's minds on this, take into consideration, too, that we saw Google today. We heard that over 3,000 signatures from within Google, by Google employees, protesting Google's involvement in supplying AI for the U.S. military, their relationship with the Pentagon. And it just makes me realize that companies like Apple, Facebook, and Google have a tremendous amount of responsibility, or at least we think they do. We consider them accountable for how they're influencing our lives outside of our life on the internet. You know, if Google is actively involved in supplying the U.S. military with something, well, holy crap! You know, what does that mean? What are the implications there? Same for Facebook. You know, if they're providing information, knowingly or unknowingly, to, you know, that could influence elections. We know that there was a lot of propaganda spread out that way.
Right.
What a mess.
We are living in the prequel to a Black Mirror episode. Is essentially what it is. That's where we're at right now. So there's lots of stuff to talk about this, and I just realized, you know, we just did 20 minutes talking about this, and we can barely even touch everything, because there's a lot of opinions on there, and I want to hear your opinions. So keep leaving those on Facebook and YouTube, and sending us emails, podcast@digitaltrends.com. We do have some other stuff to talk about, though, including, let's go to some phones. Phones are more fun, right? So Apple with the iPhone, and Julian in particular, I want to hear what you think about this, because you just put up an article, at least not very long ago, talking about where Apple is planning to go potentially with the iPhone, especially with touchless control. Now, how exactly would touchless control work?
So, I mean, patents show is what all we know so far is that they're sort of looking into patent this technology, and basically it's more or less, you know, hovering your finger over the phone to control gestures, and that doesn't sound like it could be too useful. At the same time, Samsung actually debuted this technology back in like the Galaxy S4 or something like that. So it's something that's been around. It's just that I'm not really sure what Apple's idea is going to be for how you can, or how this will really enhance your smartphone experience. But one of the other patents was more of a flexible, or not a flexible, a curved screen, but not curved in the way that Samsung does it, but more curved in like almost like the banana phone from Nokia, you know? So I think that's actually kind of a neat implementation, because that sort of fits to how we hold our phone in our hand.
LG did that with the G Flex and G Flex 2 already, though, didn't they?
Exactly. So nothing new, but this stuff is kind of interesting that Apple is playing around with it. And obviously, judging from what we've seen with like the G Flex and from Samsung, clearly those things aren't really important features or didn't really pan out for them. So maybe Apple can bring something new.
With a curved phone, though, I mean, are you talking about something that would curve and then curve back, or you can flex it, or would actually be like curved like the banana phone, like it permanently?
From what I saw in the patents, I believe it's curved like the banana phone, not any other way. But there was a separate, different patent that came out a couple of weeks ago saying that they were actually working on flexible phone technology as well. So that's something you could see in the future, sort of what Samsung is being rumored to come out with next year. We could see a foldable iPhone, for example.
Right.
And that's because of OLED screen technology.
Yeah.
Bottom line, the fact that OLED screen technology is so malleable. I mean, that's why we saw the roll-up OLED TV at CES and it blew up. I mean, the technology is there. Like, how do you put that in a frame that also flexes? That's the challenge. But, I mean, if I were Apple, I'd be like, we have flexible screens. Maybe we do something with this down the road. We better get our patent on that really quick to make sure that we own that technology and collect our share of the money when it comes out.
Yeah, I mean, and there's a lot of these companies here that just put out patents. They will just try to patent anything, and that is true. Taking a look here in the chat, I asked, what feature do you most want in a new phone? And for me, I think it's cool, a flexible screen, but I don't know if it really does that much for me. Like, what, other than being, that's neat, I can fold it in half, and, and obviously an OLED screen would be cool as far as watching things on it, but what do you really get out of that? Other than
that's pure design.
Yeah, just design. So that's it.
I mean, I don't see. I mean, if it's
like functionality.
If it's like this, like curved like a banana, I don't see. It's not gonna be comfortable to put it in a pocket.
Exactly.
To start with.
Think big, guys. Think big.
Okay, that's so what we need you here for, Julian. What's the big?
We're listening.
Yes.
Well, one of the things that I like is that you can have, say, bigger screen real estate, but without having to carry like a massive phone. So, for example, say if it's something that's rollable, you kind of carry it around like this just rollable stick or something in your pocket, and then you expand it, and you get like not just maybe a 5-inch screen, but maybe you can expand it to even go further than that. So you can have basically a tablet phone, maybe choose the size you want based on the environment you're in, that kind of thing. Or yeah, it's like the main thing that I think, but I think Lenovo showed off something not too long ago where that you could roll the display on your arm to wear it as like a wristband kind of thing. And then it sort of changes the OS to turn it into like this watch-like experience. So couple unique ideas in there, and I think that we could see more interesting things as the technology becomes.
Yeah,
but the patent does roll or not?
Well, that's a separate one.
Okay.
So
okay.
We haven't. It's sort of all over the place. Like we're saying very different things from different companies. It's some.
Robot Julian just froze there for a second.
And he's back. But
okay,
I love the idea of a phone that maybe does fold, like a bifold,
yeah.
and you operate it as a phone like that. And because the screen is so thin, it doesn't feel any thicker than a current phone, but that you could actually open it up, and the two screens would join together, and then you have a lot more screen real estate. That makes a whole lot of sense.
And I'm seeing some comments here, too. Rosa says, as a visually impaired person, the screen size is a great point. And that's true. And that's something I wasn't thinking about, how much more you could be able to do with that. So, yeah, I can definitely see as far as that idea. Courtney says longer battery life is what she would most want in a new phone.
I think that's
the
what
practicality issues. Yeah, longer battery life. And there was just a Digital Trends article about comparing battery life between all of the top phones. I don't remember who came out on top, who had the longest battery life, but there is something on there that you can check out, just showcasing the differences between that. Yeah, battery life, we all want. Somebody said privacy. Well, good luck with that. So I think, as we just found out, they're watching everything. But yeah, I like this idea of where it's going. But how far out are we for something like that, Julian? As far as like a phone we could roll up and put on our arm.
Rollable phones, I'm not sure, but Samsung actually says that they're expecting to launch their foldable phone or flexible, I don't know, one of the two, next year. So that's as soon as we can meet. I don't know if it's going to be like a concept phone or if it's actually going to be part of their flagship line.
Okay.
But next year, I think we can definitely see more of this stuff, like actual products, maybe as concepts or just stuff to see. But 2020, maybe, I think we could actually start seeing major players jumping into the market as well, other than Samsung.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's not that far out then. I mean, we really could be getting some of this pretty quickly. And talking about screens and displays, we do have something else from Apple. Again, this is another patent they filed, but they have, in case people have forgotten, they've been working really hard on autonomous cars as well. They've got a bunch of tests going. And one of the things that they're also working on in conjunction with that are augmented reality windshields and displays for the cars. And some of the patents that they just put out showcased essentially laying a 3D world over the actual world that you're looking at. So I'm trying to think of how to describe this. Essentially, you could be driving down a road. One of the patents shows, there's a winding mountain road up ahead of you, and on the screen it will show you off in the distance what's here, how the road is going to work through that. As you're driving through, it's a pretty cool idea, incorporating a lot of different things. Again, only patents right now, but incorporating LiDAR, and I think this is a pretty cool concept. I would want one of these right now.
Totally makes sense.
Want a display.
I mean, even if you just take maps, right, and pull it out of the console of your and put it right in front of your face so that you can see where you're going as you're going there. Like, you're looking at the route in the windshield. It's an overlay.
Yeah.
McDonald's over here, 76 station over here.
Right.
Shoney's over here. Whatever. It's like that. It's a much more meaningful sort of integrated way of looking at maps. It takes it. I mean, just putting a heads-up display in the windshield is a great idea in general because it means we're no longer looking down off the road to get information we need.
Right.
We're looking straight ahead and seeing that stuff. So yeah, I mean, if you can put and you can make it wide too. So like this is the map section maybe, and it's also putting your speed and your ETA to your destination.
Everything on your windshield.
But over here is the album art for the song that you're listening to through Spotify, or whatever. And backup camera pops up there, instead of basically take what's in your console and put it right in your field of view without actually obstructing your field of view.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. Just period. Just do that. I'm fine.
Yeah, I love that idea. I mean, I like I said, I want this right now. I would absolutely be ready to use that. Juliana, what about you?
Oh, I would love it.
Yeah.
I don't drive, but I think it would be good for not having so many accidents, like because people, if you don't have the, how do you call the thing that you put like your phone on and then like you can
a little phone mount.
Your phone mount.
The phone, if you don't have that, then you just like look down all the time, and having like the display would be really good for
or super distracting too.
I'd love to see a study that showed like how well people were able to resist, assuming they didn't have Android Auto or CarPlay right here, how easy it would be for them to resist looking down at their phone every time you got a little notification buzz. It's like, who texted me? What just happened? Like, who tweeted what? Like, can people really resist at this point, as plugged into their phones as they are? Can they resist the urge anymore to look at what's happening? How many accidents happen just because you're looking, not because you're actually texting? We know that's a problem, but how many accidents happen because you're distracted long enough just to look down to see what that notification was?
Yeah, I mean, it's true. It happens all the time. So if that would alleviate some of that would be great. David, and I think Sarita's agreeing on YouTube, just said it would be full of advertisements for places you were driving past.
My God.
No doubt.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We already know that's the case. We know about eye tracking technology that keeps track of what you're looking at and what you express interest in purely on how long you fixate on something. That's in the works. And also if it knows what you like to shop for because of its monitoring your activity when you're online, then there's nothing stopping it from saying, oh, hey, those really cute boots you were looking at, they're right here. You could go buy them right now.
Right.
I'm just saying.
Speaking of advertising while driving, it's actually a funny point because I don't know if any of you guys use Waze.
I do.
But so I actually wrote this story a couple days ago where Waze is now launching this thing called Waze Local, where one of the ads that you might see in the app now it's more of their effort to push advertising to small businesses, is that when you're driving and when you come to a full stop, a company that maybe purchases an ad called a zero-speed takeover ad is allowed to show their ad or promotion or whatever on your screen, and it'll disappear as soon as your car starts driving again. And basically, it'll only appear when your car is completely at a full stop, and then it disappears from your screen as soon as you start driving. So the idea is that, like, say you pull up at a traffic light, waiting, suddenly see an ad for like this Dunkin' Donuts that's like a mile or so away, and it's mostly going to be limited to big promotions that these businesses are offering. But that's something that's out there. That's basically in-car advertising that's already there in your smartphone app, and they've been doing this already for the past year and a half or so. So
it's happening right now, is what you're saying.
We live in that world now.
We do live in that world. Well, the final story that we have here today, too, just talking about, I think the whole theme today is everybody's watching everything you do.
Can we lighten it up a little bit?
Well, let's talk about this. This is a voluntary thing that somebody would do. Let's talk about robots. We almost always end up talking about robots. This one is a robot called Freebo, It comes from researchers in South Korea.
Oh my gosh.
This is to describe this robot, it looks like kind of a nightmare cartoon version of a cat. And it's got these glowing eyes on it.
It's a total Tim Burton cat.
Yes, a Tim Burton cat. That is a great way to describe it. If you're watching live, you can see the video on this thing. So it's like a Google Home or an Amazon Echo, but it's got these weird ears on it, and it's got these blinking, glow-in-the-dark, haunting eyes. And what it does is it's supposed to be to combat loneliness is what they're looking for. But what this robot does is the AI is always listening to everything you're doing in your room or in your house, and it can identify what you're doing. It's said down to the point where if it hears you open up your refrigerator, it'll know you're going into your fridge. And what it will do is send a message to everybody in your friend group and let them know, hey, Bob's opening up the fridge right now. What's he getting to eat? And send these messages out to people. And so it knows everything you're doing. And people are supposed to want to put that in because then they want to increase communication. I like the idea. They want to fight loneliness. But, God, that is creepy. That is not something I would want.
Well, I live alone, but I wouldn't have this.
Juliana just opened her fridge.
My family is far away. My friends are far away. And I wouldn't have that cat.
Yeah.
I mean why would I want someone to know that I open my fridge? I mean, it's like too much.
I just feel like it could be so depressing for some people who are just like me. If I go home, I'm on my computer all day, and then I'm coming home, and basically on my computer even more, and it's basically like Julian hasn't done anything.
Or what's worse, you're doing stuff. I mean, where does it draw the line? Like, at what point does it stop noticing behavior? Because we do private things in our home that you don't want to. Oh, Caleb just went into the bathroom. Guess what he's doing right now? He just made a very odd sound. He must be having a hard time today. You're like, that's not information that we don't need to share this information. This is such a. I think this is a very culturally based kind of thing. Like, we see some very interesting ideas that from Japan, from South Korea, from China, stuff that we would never ever think to do. Like, they get really excited about it, in their culture, in their space, the way they use technology. That's just
they want everybody to know what they're doing.
So I guess maybe I don't know. Yeah, no, I'm going to say no.
Yeah, well, they're testing it out right now. They said they don't know when it'll come to market or if this exact version will. I think they definitely have to change it from the creepy cat eyes. I don't know why. Why is it shaped like a cat? That's the other part.
Because
that makes no
loves
sense.
Cats, I guess.
It's cute.
It's your little kitty, but it's not cute. I mean, they're trying to make it cute, but it is.
It's a Tim Burton cat, so it's not that cute.
It looks like it's going to steal your soul while you're
just
sleeping.
Just because it has those cute little animated eyes, that makes it even worse. The cuter they try to make it, the creepier it actually is.
You're going to wake up in the middle of the night. It's going to be closer and closer to you till it's just hovering over you. That's how I see this thing.
Probably Hello Kitty was too expensive to be made. They would have to pay a ton.
Oh,
because they love Hello Kitty in Asia.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. They do love Hello Kitty, so maybe this is like the dark version cousin.
Hello Kitty is going to be the Trojan horse that opens up all kinds of privacy issues.
That is how
the Trojan Kitty.
The Trojan Kitty. All right, I like that version. All right, we'll leave it at that. I want to say thank you, everybody, for tuning in to Trends with Benefits. We do this show every week, live on Facebook and YouTube every week at 2:30. But we're a podcast. Subscribe to the podcast on iTunes or wherever you get yours. I want to thank Julian for joining us via the telepresence robot. Julian, thank you for hopping in.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, this is awesome. So I think we're going to be having some more people joining in via the robot. And Julian and Caleb, thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. We will be back next week with another episode.
Watch, I get back to my computer and I've got ads for cable knit sweaters.